Today we're talking about how to kill your demo. What's up, SC Nation? Welcome back to another video. My name is Ramzi Majab. I'm a solutions specialist out of Ottawa, Canada, and I like to talk about sales engineering, amongst other things. Today we're talking about how to kill your demo, basically. These are 14 things you should do if you want to get kicked out of a demo, if you want to lose your customers' interests, if you just want to do a poor job altogether. This is what you should do. If that's what you're looking for, this video's for you. I was gonna say toi in French, but then I remembered I don't speak French. So
Je découpe plow.
this video is for you. Before I keep going, if you do enjoy these videos, I ask you to share and subscribe. From my understanding of my channel, I think 77% of my audience is not actually subscribed. So if you are finding these videos interesting, it would help me a great deal if you do subscribe. The more you subscribe, the more the algorithm thinks I'm actually doing something useful, the more it shows it to other people. Now, you know how it works. You've been on YouTube. YouTube is not new. Here are the 14 things you should do if you want to lose your customer. Yada, yada. You know what I'm talking about. Number 1, not pre-briefing with your account manager. That's a sin, in my humble opinion, in the sense that if you don't talk to your account manager beforehand, even if you've been part of the discovery call, but if you don't talk to them and say, this is what I'm going to show, this is what I need you to do, and we'll talk about what salespeople can do in the middle of a demo. This is what I need you to do. This is what I don't want you to ask me during the call. Don't ask me to show them this feature or that feature. These are the features I'm going to show. What do you think? This is the business case that I'm trying to attack. What do you think? If you don't have that, you're just opening yourself up so that you would have to have this conversation in front of the customer as the demo is going along. And nobody wants that. We want to be on the same page. So if you do want to do well on the demo, step number 1 is pre-brief with your account manager. Number 2, let your account manager send emails during the demo. And I've seen that so many times. I actually mentioned that with Anthony Palmozzi in last week's podcast. I'll link that up here somewhere. A lot of my account managers would just sit either in the front or in the back. I mean, if you're going to sit in the back, that's fine. But sit in the front and open in your laptop. And obviously, maybe you're not sending emails, but you're just not listening to the conversations that are taking place around you. That's another sin. So send your emails before or after, or don't come to the demo, in my humble opinion. If you're going to be in the demo, be useful to the SE. Now, how can you be useful to the SE? That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. You can be useful to the SE by taking notes during the call, looking at body language, because some people might be interested and some people might not be. I'm taking notes when I have like a specialist coming in and doing a demo. I'm taking notes at what point a customer leans in, what time they lean back, what time they smile, what time they shake their heads like, I don't care, so that I can gauge what's hitting and what's not hitting. I actually observe all that. An account manager's job is to do that. It's to support the SE during the demo, only if they want to sell. If they don't care about selling, then please don't be there. Don't set up that demo to begin with. If you're not going to be active in the demo, don't show up. Or if you want to lose the deal, do show up. Number 3, showing a cool but useless feature. I've had that where a fellow SE would say, oh, I'm going to show you something cool, something amazing. And then they proceed to show it and everyone's like crickets. No one says anything. Nobody cares. Because the SE did not ask themselves beforehand, so what and who cares? And because they didn't ask themselves, so what and who cares, they could never tell the customer why they should care about that to begin with. Or if the who cares is not even in the room, not showing that feature, you can send a video later. I mean, with technology, you can do a lot of different things. It's a sin, in my humble opinion, to just show cool features, in your opinion, that are useless to the customer. The 4th thing you can do to lose a deal is not anticipate objections. When you're doing a demo, you're showing a lot of your product to the customer. You're kind of being vulnerable. You're allowing them to see a lot of things on the software. A lot of times we practice as if we're alone in the room and we're just going to go speak for a half hour. We're going to talk and the outcome is going to be amazing. We're going to tell the story. And it's going to be so cool. And even if we prepare for it. And as Mike Tyson says, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. And the first objection is the punch in the face. We don't practice objections for some reason. Even worse, we don't even anticipate them. We think this is all going to flow. But if you were part of the discovery, if you understand what's important for them, if you understand if they're talking to another potential vendor, you know that they're going to plant landmines. If they're not planting landmines, you should. So you're going to need to figure out what potential objections are they going to provide. If you're new to the role, then you should talk to other SEs who've done the same solution demo and ask them what are the objections that they faced. But you can get a lot from being part of the discovery and asking questions and seeing what's important, what's not important, and then showing the product. And most importantly, practice handling that objection. I have a podcast episode with Doug Brown all about objection handling. He has a book all about objection handling. And number 5 is not anticipating technical issues. Again, we practice as if everything is going to go well. We don't practice if something goes bad. If it crashes, it's like, oh no, not again. I've actually heard that. Oh, it's just so painful to listen to someone say, oh no, not again. And then the customers look at each other and say, what? Again? This happens often? So what are you going to say? What is the salesperson going to do if it does crash? They're not doing something physically. They're not rebooting the server or anything, but they are chatting with the customers, taking a load off of you so you can focus and actually do your thing and bring it back up so you can go through the demo again. These things you should practice. It's like a 2-minute drill in football, right? Where you have 2 minutes left, you will need to cross the entire field. You're down, you're losing, and you want to cross and score. That's it. The server just crashed. You need to do a demo. You have 2 minutes to bring it back up. What does your account manager do? What do you do? If there are other teammates in the room, what is their job? That's something you need to work on. Number 6, address the most important person in the room. The reason I say that is a lot of times the most important person in the room is a busy person. They're not going to be there for the full hour. So if you have them in the room for 5-10 minutes, your attention should be at them for that 5-10 minutes. If you're in the middle of a demo and you're demoing something completely different and they walked in and you know what's important to them, your demo should switch and you should work on that part. Show them what's most important for them so they can leave with a good impression and not sit there and say like, well, this is not useful for me and just take off. And now have the thought that this is not useful for me. Because even if you show the part that's useful to that most important person in the room, later, nobody else cares about it. Someone might be proactive and might share that information with the most important person in the room, but they might not be. And now you just wasted everybody's time. And it gets even worse. If the most important person in the room asks a question, you delay it. We'll talk about Chris White's 4Ds later, but that's one of them. That's a mortal sin. Well, sin. It's a sin. Number 7, not getting information firsthand. A lot of times we get information from our account managers, and more often than not, in my experience, that information is incorrect. I've had so many issues where my account manager would give me the wrong information. And early on in my career, I would believe them and go do the demo based on our conversation or go prepare for the demo and then show up and everything blows up in my face because I don't have the right information. I learned pretty quickly that if my account manager asks for this and I completely ignore them and talk to the customer directly. I have a good relationship with my customers, so keep that in mind. It's not like I went behind his back. I told my account manager I'm going to talk to my customer and make sure he was okay with it, but always work your way to getting the information firsthand. And that comes with practice, that comes with building better relationships with your account managers so you can get there. And you'll be able to tell your account manager, invite me to the discovery call so I can get my own answers. Or now that they want a demo, I'm going to call them to make sure I understand what they need. Number 9 is not preparing open-ended questions. Any questions?
Anyone? 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 Did it work? Anyone? Anyone know the effects? Anyone know what this is? Class? Anyone? Anyone? Anyone seen this before? Anyone know what this says?
Number 10, not preparing jokes. I always prepare jokes. Sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. Sometimes they land, sometimes they don't. But I adapt based on the way things are going. Humor is a great way to relate to people. Humor brings people together. If someone's very serious on the phone, from my experience, they tend to be monotone, they tend to be boring. Having jokes ready, even if you don't use them, just makes your life easier. And when you're open to joking, jokes will open up for you as you're going through. Obviously, you have to be respectful. You can't step on anyone's toes. You have to know the line. But I would always go on the side of joking versus not joking. Even if my account managers would freak out sometimes, and be sure to tell my clients that I am joking because they think that they don't get it. Most of my customers get it. 11, not reading the room. This is something I mentioned that account managers should do, but you as an SE manager, as an SE doing a demo, should be looking at people, especially if you're in the same room, and reading the room. Reading who's interested, who's not interested. Are you losing them? Are you bringing them in? Is there anything useful that they're saying? Are they talking with each other about something you just said? If you don't read the room and just keep going with your own thing, you'll never adjust. You'll never even know if you're doing a good job or not. You might walk out and say, hey, that was a great demo. Nobody cared. Be sure to read the room. The 12th demo killer is not agreeing on next step. When you're doing a demo and you wowed them, there's usually something that they want to do after. And if you, with your account manager, don't set something up like as next steps, whether it's a proof of value or proof of concept, whether it's some more information about something, or whether you need to work with that account manager to do a proposal, you kind of need to figure out what the next steps are so you can push the deal forward. If it's left in limbo, it will stay in limbo. So make sure that you actually go through and set up the next call or meeting or step, whatever it is. Number 13 is not continuously doing discovery. Every time they ask a question, it's an opportunity for a discovery. Every time you see people talk to each other, again, going back to reading the room, it's an opportunity for discovery. A lot of SEs, they just want to do their demo. They want to keep going with their demo because that's what they practice. That's the flow that they have. They don't want to deviate. But the best demos I've had is where I've actually had conversations with customers. If you don't have conversations with customers, your demo should last 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the complexity of the product, obviously. But if you start at the end, which is what Peter Cohen always suggests, start at the end, work your way back. If you start at the end and you don't do a discovery about what they want to see and what's the next thing they want to see, you're just going to start at the end and finish at the end. You're never going to go back and show them the flow. And number 14 is not listening to Chris White. So this is Chris White's book, The 6 Habits of Highly Effective People. If you go to page 159, I'll leave a link to this book in the description below. It will be an affiliate link. It's a good way to support the channel. If you choose to do that, you would see that there are 4 Ds. He calls it the rule, like the 4 Ds rule, which is basically discover, direct attention, dismiss, and defer. Not in that order. But basically, depending on who's in the room and they ask a question, you either do a discovery, answer directly, defer, if it's someone who's like a bench warmer coming in for that just meeting, or you can delay. Let's say it's not the most important person in the room. They ask a question, you know you're going to cover it in a few minutes, you just delay them. And if it's the most important person in the room, you directly cover that topic, whatever they asked. He has a story about that. I'll see if I can find that story and leave that in the show notes somewhere in the description below. So these are the 14 things that you can do to lose a deal. The 14 demo killers, as I like to call them. There are a lot more. Please share your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe if you're enjoying the channel. If you're not, please don't subscribe. I'm not asking you to do anything against your will. So that's it for me. Yeah, get back to work. Peace.